So again, I'm Sharon Scott from SUNY Orange Community College. I am the User Services Librarian. And today I just wanted to kind of share a little bit of our experience for social media success and how we've been, using our college library platform to build, to bridge communities through engaging content and connection. Excuse me, I'm just a little nervous, but it gets better. I just want to put a disclaimer, please, with this presentation. I wouldn't say go back to your libraries and be like, oh, I just learned so much on social media. We're going to be influencers now. We're going to make our library so much money, and then engagement's going to be like off the roof. We're going to have millions of followers. This is just like a little something that we've been kind of playing along with, and I just thought I could share. So I hope it's helpful. But I don't think it will like hugely get like millions of followers. So I just wanted to put that there. Okay, so I just want to talk a little bit about, why social media for libraries. And then I have a couple, like 5 tips that I kind of found important over the last 2 years when I've been playing with this. One is about finding your community, how to find your platform, growing your community, and then creating and managing content. And then, of course, using the reports and the statistics. And then common pitfalls when using social media. And then I hopefully have some times for questions and answers. So why social media? It's community engagement. Social media platforms provide libraries with direct and interactive channels to engage with their communities. Libraries can share about events, new resources, and services, and receive immediate feedback from patrons. The biggest way that we've been using it is to promote our library services and events. You're connecting with your patrons. This is your community. You do have the community that comes in person, but we also do have communities, again, like I'm mentioning, on social media. This is a great way to increase your visibility and your reach. And then, of course, it's a great way to get feedback and improvements. And then you're staying relevant and accessible. So these are all like great reasons why social media can be used for libraries. Okay, so tip 1, finding your community. I say this is like kind of your community, which also could be like you're finding your followers. So what you can do is like look at your mission statement as a library. You kind of want to review what's your purpose, and typically a mission statement, you might see communities mentioned within the statement. You might also have a vision statement. Typically they clearly identify what the library will be doing if the mission statement is achieved, and a list of values, commitments, and goals that would help the library achieve its mission. So these are 2 ways that you could try to figure out your community for like if you're creating a social media platform for your library, or if you're maintaining it for your library. So with tip 1, I kind of did a little bit of an example of what we did over the last 2 years. So we reviewed our SUNY Orange mission statement for the library. And then we also looked at our parent institution and their mission statement and their vision statement. We don't have a vision statement as the library, but we have the mission. And then I looked at our parent institution, which is SUNY Orange Community College. And then with that, I looked to figure out who is my community. So in the summer of 2022, I met with other library staff. I met with the library director, and we kind of discussed like what are the goals and the communities that we're trying to reach with social media. And then I also had met with the Department of Communications. So they are the one that kind of like oversees the social media. We run the platform, the librarians run the platform, but we do still have to, get permission to like add a platform or remove a platform through them. So we identified our community as students first. We are a community college. We serve the students first, faculty, staff, and then of course our community, which is located, we have Middletown and Newburgh area. Our other local libraries. You guys are other local libraries that are also our community, because libraries are a community. And then, of course, organizations and associations. So like the ALA, could be another community. So we kind of break down which communities are we going to try to reach with social media. And then we looked at our platforms. I kind of suggest that, you want to look like what is already owned, review the platforms that maybe the library already has, and then you can review your communities, look at the demographics. So maybe we were a community college, so we are students. It's a different age than maybe a public library or a medical library. So you can kind of see, what is the community demographics that you're working with. Look at others. I thought that funny. That image was really funny there. Not that close, but look at what other people are doing. I kind of spend some time looking around at other community college libraries. I spend time looking at public libraries' social medias. And I just kind of was trying to see like what everybody else is doing. And what's going on, like what platforms are they using and what are they posting as well. And then, of course, like if you are the one maintaining these platforms, I suggest maybe try to use your own experience that you have with these platforms. So, for example, maybe you're more familiar with Facebook, maybe you're more familiar with TikTok, or maybe there's more familiar with Instagram. So if you're the person creating and maintaining these, maybe try to go with something that you're familiar with. Okay, so where we started, we previously had a Twitter, which is now X account. We only had 73 followers. We did have quite a few months where we had some big view stats, and we had an Instagram account with only with 63 followers. That's what we started with, the two platforms that we had. Where we are now, we moved over. We no longer maintain the Twitter account, the X account, but now we have a Facebook page. We're using it because of the Meta business account that it has. I can talk about that a little bit later. Right now, our Facebook page only has 7 followers. That's okay. And our Instagram, though, has increased to 246. And that's like an increase of 83% over the 2 years that we've been working on that. Again, I'm not talking millions of followers here, but this is an improvement, So, and it's something that I really enjoy. So, tip 3. So tip 1 was learning about your community. Tip 2 was finding your platform and then growing your community. This is always the hardest part is, trying to grow your community. So what we did is we had promotion events. So you could try to do a promotion event. Maybe in the library, you could have some kind of event where you have like a QR code and you have people scan it and then like your page to get a follower. Again, that kind of follows along with the promotion of the signage. QR codes are great for social media. So if you can get one for your accounts, put them by your circulation desk, even say to the patrons like, hey, like, do you like us on social media? And try to encourage it. We also dove into having other departments on campus help us promote our page. So we were tagging each other's departments. Maybe I'm going to the tutoring center. I'm going to the nursing club. So we have a lot of interaction with other departments. But this is these are great ways to kind of grow your community. So what I did is these 2 photos. I stood out in front of some busy, popular places on campus, and I bribed students with snacks. It's the best way. So, I mean, if you have it in your budget, and you can get some snacks, everybody loves food. And it was amazing because, in one day, I think we had like 64 likes just by students coming through. So I did use the signage. I had my QR codes. The majority of the students did not have a Facebook page because that's my demographic. Facebook is a little bit older to them. But the Instagram was very popular. So that's kind of like, as I'm going over the years, I'm seeing that Instagram is going to be maybe a little bit more of my focus going forward. So I, again, sat 2 days. I try to do it on both campuses, twice a year if I can. And again, I encourage students to like our page, and I say, we don't like you back. Because sometimes people get weirded out. Like they think, oh, are you going to follow me back? Like, I don't want that. I don't want that. And I'm like, no, like you just like us. We don't like you back. I mean, we do like you, but not like that. So, but yeah, it was really successful, and we've done it a couple times. So that's really been great because it really focused on the first community that we wanted to reach, which was students. So I noticed through the reports that a lot of our followers were other community libraries and other libraries, but they weren't students. So my goal was to grab the students as my community. So I, again, bribed them with snacks. Okay. Next one is, creating and like managing the content that you want to, use. Use a content calendar. You could use Google Calendar, or if you do have that Meta Business Page account, you can use the Meta platform, which is really helpful. It's very efficient. You can develop a calendar that outlines the content you want to share and when. And then some different content types I put on the side here. You can pick themes, that support the library's goals. For example, there could be book recommendations, events, author spotlights. You can use user-generated content, which encourages your audience to create and then share content content to your library. So this is more of like asking people to hold up a sign, post it, and then use your hashtag. So it's kind of like they're creating the content, but then maybe you reshare it. Sorry, this is on the other side there. I'm just going to grab my notes because I just lost my train of thought. So also the other content that you can kind of use is interactive content, and that's the one that we've been kind of seeing the most fun and engagement with. So you can do polls, there's quizzes, there's contests, and you can pretty much ask questions and get feedback using social media. And then of course there's like behind the scenes. I thought this was really fun. You show a glimpse of like what it's like behind the scenes of a library, and who does what, and kind of like promote the staff and like what we do all the time. So these are just some like content ideas. There's so much content out there, but the goal is you want to have content and then you want to have a calendar. You kind of want to like organize yourself with it. Okay. So what we did, we use Google Sheets. We organize it that way. We kind of just put in some information there. And then of course, we use the Meta Business Facebook account. So Meta Business owns Instagram. So a lot of the statistics and the analytics and the posting can go to both platforms, which I think is very efficient, and it saves a lot of time. This is a lot of information, and I didn't want to go too much into like the Meta account, but for content creating, I use Canva. And then you can also create content within the platform. So for example, if you're creating a reel, which is a short video, you can actually just create that within Instagram and post it. You don't have to really use a Canva page if you want to. If you need content, most of the time I ask the other departments within the library. We have a librarian who works with archives, and I say, hey, like, what do you want to do? Like, how can we best promote what you're doing? And so we started doing Throwback Thursdays, where she will give me an old image and I promote it. And it kind of goes like that way too, where it's promoting the archives, but it's also like giving me content. So we have somebody who does the interlibrary loan. That's like a service that I think people forget about all the time in a community college. She'll give me content too, and I put that in there as well. And then sometimes, we're just promoting services. We're just promoting events. And you can also use AI to come up with some ideas. Oh gosh, I'm at 5 minutes. Okay. Sorry. AI is great. I go into ChatGPT if you're familiar with it. It can give you great ideas It's just wonderful. I didn't want to get into that too much, but feel free to use AI. So this is a little bit of what we got going on. Here's our Instagram page. You can see the professional dashboard underneath. That's a great place to kind of see those reports and analytics. The second image is a conversation where we were connecting with another group. This was not a library group. This was another community in Newburgh. And we kind of just connected and we built a community together where we share each other's content. And it's really cool. And then the third image is like a student who was reaching out to see about like the new cafe that we had. So again, these are just examples of like people reaching through these platforms to connect with us, and we're there. And if you notice, we respond. That's one of the pitfalls, is people don't respond. Here we're tagged the nursing department, and then I thought the one all the way on the end was very interesting. We had a poll going up, and the response was from an older retiree from the college, and he's responding to our content, which I thought was really cool. So he's like staying connected with us. We have people retired, we have students, we have people from the community, all interacting with us on social media. These are just a couple of the things that we've been doing. Again, so those are in the library, but I take it and then put it online to get more feedback. It's great. Sometimes I actually get more feedback through the social media than I do with the tallies in person. So we're still kind of playing with it. It's important to look at the reports. It just pretty much helps us identify areas that we can improve. It's great for engagement, and then we can like measure different impact. I guess that kind of, my thing got moved over there, but we use these statistics in our library annual report. So we do put this in a report. You can kind of see some of the information here. This is, the accounts that we reached in the past month. There's a little bit more of the data right there. All the way on the side is kind of an image from the Meta page, where it kind of can tell me like my most popular posting times. So when I could post and schedule my content. Common pitfalls, pretty much inconsistent posting. Social media has a lot of algorithms and different ways behind the scenes that kind of push and change your rankings, what people see, and like all these different things. So when you're doing social media posting, you want to make sure you're a little consistent. Lack of visual appeal, make sure it looks pretty. Use different kind of graphics, use audio. Lack of strategy, kind of have maybe, have a game plan. Overlooking the analytics. Make sure you look at those analytics. And then failure to engage with others. It's so important that, like I said, if they message you or they respond to that poll or they have a question, try to respond. Okay, so what can you do if you don't run the social media pages? Follow your library social media page. They probably won't follow you back. Maybe they do. I don't know. Maybe you know the person who's managing those pages. So you can follow their page, promote it to patrons. And then, of course, if you're in an area where you could share ideas of content to the person who manages those pages, it could be really helpful. I have some resources and questions.